Yeah.
Okay, I'm with Leila Waba, who is the Deputy Director and Culture Curator at the A&D?
Yeah, A+D.
A+D. You don't call it A&D, it's A+D.
Yeah. Well, if you see our logo, there's a plus sign.
A+D Museum, which is now housing this really unique exhibit called the Museum of Disgusting Food.
Disgusting Food Museum?
The Disgusting Food Museum. And you guys have been so gracious enough to allow me into your museum to try some things.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's great. I have such a great time. Of course, this has been a topic of curiosity for me for a long time, weird foods. And on my show, I've covered some weird foods and stuff. What is it? Could you sort of reiterate something you said earlier about the importance of exposing the public to weird foods? I thought that was really insightful of you.
Oh, yeah.
And how it relates to culture and our cultural prejudices and this kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So the museum was actually... Sam West, who's the founder of the museum, kind of got the idea when he was exploring different sustainable foods and how we can kind of expand our notions of food. And one way of doing that is looking at different cultures and starting to understand that disgust is super relative, and that we can actually learn a lot by changing our perspective. Also, by doing it through food, since food is such like an intense subject for people, you feel so protective over your food that it kind of incites conversation, especially by calling it disgusting. People get defensive and it sparks a conversation. And then you realize that the word disgusting is just an opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Culturally influenced opinions.
Yeah. Culturally and individually. So you'd be surprised because just because you and I are from the same country and culture doesn't mean that like I really hate eggs. Going to brunch with me is no fun.
You don't like
eggs?
Eggs
Are disgusting.
You don't like them?
I can't handle it, and that's just like an individual thing.
Yeah, this isn't an Egyptian thing.
No,
not at all.
Promise. No, they love eggs there.
Yeah.
Actually, the eggs in Egypt taste better.
They taste better. What is it about the Egyptian chickens?
I think it's the butter, actually, that they cook it with.
Okay. I need to try some of these Egyptian eggs.
Gotta go to Egypt.
I gotta go back to Steinway Street. Give me some eggs out there.
But yeah, so it's been like really fun in that way. And then when Sam and Andreas, the guys from Sweden, came, they brought a lot of the products with them, and there were some that we had to go searching for that were kind of hard to find, and just searching for those foods is an exploration into other cultures that exist within LA. Like, we talked to people we never would have talked to before, in different neighborhoods, in different cities. It's just kind of crazy. And then you get to see, for them, it's just super normal.
There was no illegal dealings, though, going on, right?
No,
it
definitely
was all on the up and up.
Oh, of course.
You just call your local goat head store.
Yeah, totally, yes. Let me make that clear. It's all legal.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
There are some foods that you have here that have been on an illegal list, correct?
Correct.
And you had to get some sort of permission to get them here? Go through some paperwork or something? Or
yeah.
We don't have to talk about that.
Some of them we had to recreate. So like the one with the maggots, those are different maggots.
Those aren't
that are not the jumping ones that are going to go into your eyeballs, and also it's encased, so we're safe. But those are actually maggots that you can buy locally.
Okay, but the actual cheese itself, and I've read about that cheese, it's a very famous cheese, and it is illegal in the U.S., and it's because they're jumping, different kind of maggots, but you guys kind of recreated it with local maggots, but it still gives you the idea of like, people are going to eat this cheese with larvae in it, which is what you're trying to impart onto the people.
You see how happy the maggots are, at least, when you come see the museum.
Yeah, they're very happy.
The happiest maggot I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. So. They get to listen to EDM all day.
I can't with this playlist anymore.
Now, one of the things that I read an article recently about how the branching out into eating a lot of insects as an alternate diet source for us because of the dwindling resources, dwindling food is, and that's
scarcity
is correct. That makes total sense. There's a lot of insects, but what about some of the other foodstuffs that I'm seeing? These are animals that there isn't so many of them like there are insects, and shouldn't we sort of be careful that we're making these other things extinct? Is there a concern for that? It's kind of a weird question. But
I mean, I don't know about. I'm trying to think through like the exhibit which ones are going extinct. I don't think there's anything like on the...
Well, you have shark.
Yeah, the shark is like a specific type of shark, and that's also what kind of started that food. Is that kind of shark, the meat is poisonous. So
that particular shark is the meat is poisonous. That's right. I read that.
Yeah. So the way that it's treated is actually to kind of reverse that toxicity, and that was invented like
and
way before our time.
How many scores of Vikings died in the process of figuring out how to eat this to like really be able to digest this shark? You're like, what did you do with it? I fried it. Ugh, he keels over. Okay, just cross off fried off the list. What did you do, Eric? I boiled it. He dies. Cross off boiled.
Seriously. But then you have stuff like cows. Like, they're not going extinct, but they are costing our environment so much.
Yes, sure.
So much. So, like, there are different costs, like, not just to the animal life directly to that animal, but when you have cows that you're wasting all these resources on, biodiversity suffers naturally because you're creating these environments that are not natural. So it kind of gives you kind of a perspective on that, like seeing that, like that steak in that pack, you're like, oh, this is disgusting that we're doing this.
Yeah, that's right.
It is. Like, it's just disgusting, and it's not necessarily just about the animal, it's about the larger effect. So
now here's a question about how you guys acquired your collection here. Was it were you allowing people to submit their suggestions for disgusting foods? Was it one individual who decided that we're going to have these, this, and this? Like, how did you come up with the list of things that we have here?
So that was actually Sam. I did not come up with
Sam
that list.
Sam did that,
yeah.
Okay.
So he kind of just did some research. I think a lot of it did start just, he travels a lot for work, and he's not a fearful person, let's say, so I'm sure he just went to restaurants and actually ate a lot of these foods, and then when he started questioning, like he started this line of questioning that led him to the museum, I think he's just started grabbing at those and then seeing what else he could put in and making sure that it was all-inclusive in terms of culture.
It is, because you even have, like, there's like Pop-Tarts and like...
That shit is so gross. I love Pop-Tarts, but Twinkies, I can't.
The Twinkies, but we had, like, so to us they seem normal, but we had a conversation out there on the floor where we were like, but if you brought this Twinkie to an Aboriginal tribe and like they would be like, whoa, this is poison.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
They'd be like, this is the worst thing ever.
It's so far from nature.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, like this shouldn't exist in the world in any sense.
Sure. So to think that there's people out there that are like, a Pop-Tart, ew, and then they turn and they crunch on a bat, and they're like, I'd rather have this bat.
That totally makes... Oh.
Are you being pulled away?
No.
Why not kale? Gross. So gross. Kale? Ew. No kale out there?
No.
Just curious.
Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I have a cultural prejudice against kale. I find it to be gross.
You can always add it to the wall. I'm a huge kale fan because, I'm a cliche.
Yeah. You're officially Los Angeles now. Now, before I ate some of the food, I wasn't required to sign a waiver. What's the deal with that? What if I went into...
We're an educational institution.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of bypass a lot of that.
So you're like, eat bugs at your own risk.
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
Exactly.
I like that.
We're public.
What would you say? I got the privilege of witnessing a young boy throw up right in front of me, and what was
You're
he?
So lucky.
Was that pretty fortunate? So my next question was, how many times a day does that occur?
I think they have, like, since we opened about, what is it now, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I think we've had 8 uses of the barf bag.
Oh.
Is all I'm gonna...
Yeah. This kid was a double bagger. Anyone used too? Yeah, he did too. Oh, this kid was killing it.
Oh, poor kid.
How wild is it that the only time I come here and I'm in the presence of somebody eating a thing and then throwing it, I got so lucky.
I've still not seen someone firsthand throw up.
You still
so
haven't?
I'm like waiting for it. I'm very excited about it. That's terrible. But
Yeah, sure. A little masochism going on here.
For these things.
You have dreams in that eyes.
Oh my god.
Young boy throwing up. Now, since you've been doing the museum, the Disgusting Food Museum, you're getting a lot of feedback from people. Have there been any suggestions from a customer or someone who's witnessed this that you then went and go, oh, that's a great suggestion to add to our collection. Let's go and get that.
We have not added anything yet.
Okay.
However, there was one gentleman who promised to come back this week with some different form of crickets that he just has at his house. And so we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed. Please don't bring us lots of random food, please. If you would like to suggest one, please email the Disgusting Food Museum. They're open to it. But please don't just start showing up with random foods.
People are like knocking on your door. Look, this is my mother's stuffed cabbage. It's gross. Put it out there. I'm sure you can find room for it.
And then I'll call your mother.
Yeah.
Let her know that you've said that.
You could always add my suggestion, which I put on the board, which is wheatgrass. I mean, I think we can all agree it's the most gross thing you can find at the health food store.
And yet it's so popular.
And yet so popular.
So.
People like to torture themselves. Unbelievable. I love that. Have they had any ideas for any other museums on the horizon? May I suggest a few? The Museum of Awful Music.
Oh, I like that.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
The Museum of Distasteful Hairstyles.
Is that just Donald Trump?
It would just be all Trump dudes. Yeah. The Museum of Shoes That Make Me Angry.
Shoes that make you... I love all shoes.
You love all shoes?
I love all shoes.
Okay. How about the Museum of Sprained Ankles? Any of these?
I see what you did there.
You see what I did that? It's pretty good. The shoes thing and that's right. All right. I think we covered everything that I wanted to. What have you learned most from this whole experience here?
I would say that people are surprisingly open-minded. I was super worried
that no one would try anything.
People would take it the wrong way, because calling someone sweet disgusting can be taken really badly, and to us that's not at all what we meant. We meant it in a reverse way, in a way to start a conversation, and that seems to be what's happening out there. I mean, we had a few groups this weekend leave together because they were all just talking about their personal likes and dislikes and where their food comes from and their childhoods, and I mean, these were people that never met each other. So it's surprising somewhat to see how open people can be. It's kind of heartwarming in a really not very heartwarming environment.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Yeah, I was surprised at how open everyone was to trying the food. I asked people, "Oh, you're gonna try?" And they were so matter of fact. They're like, "Oh, we're trying everything," and I was like, "Whoa!" And then the kid that walked up was like, "I'm trying everything too." That's
the thing. The kids are the best.
I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" Because in the beginning, hearing about this, I would have thought as well, "Oh, probably maybe we'll get a 50% of the people might try something." But it seems to me like you're getting 70%, 75% of people are trying some stuff. Definitely. Maybe close to 100% of people are trying something at that bar.
Yeah, I think 99% are trying at least one thing. It tends to be the salty licorice because they think that's not going to be the worst. Yet you hear back from the people who've tried everything and they're like, the salty licorice was the worst thing I've ever
I spit it out. Yeah.
I like it now.
So now you like it? It's really grown on you?
This show has started. The first time I tried it, I was like, this is terrible. And then I have a slight sugar addiction, so when we ran out of candy in the back, I came to the front and ate
No,
some.
you didn't.
And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now.
Oh my goodness. What's going to happen when you run out of beef jerky? You're going to go at that horse meat? You're going to get on the horse meat game?
Hands on.
Leila's out of beef jerky. Watch out, she's going to get back here and take a bite out of a bat wing. A jerky bat wing. How about that? That's fantastic. Well, Leila, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this. It's such a really cool experience. Of course it falls into the weird category, which I'm all about, but this was so cool. I would recommend this to anybody, weird or not. If you're just a fan of food, and who isn't? This experience is great. You know what I mean? You get to sort of get a little taste of everything around the world.
Exactly, right?
It's very worldly.
Never see it all together again.
Yeah, everything, little country here. This is from this country. It's very eye opening, and I think it's a great experience. And so thank you for having me here. I really had a great time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You kept me calm during the interview, so I'm very happy.
Great, fantastic.